We have about freedom of opinion and information, also known as freedom of speech. And our outline. First we're going to talk about freedom of speech, what it is. Then we're going to talk about the Mohammed crisis, Kurt Vestergaard, Mandela and apartheid, and Egyptian revolution of 2011. Okay, freedom of speech. Our article, which is the 19th article of the Universal Declaration, means that every man, woman and child should have the right to have their own opinion. Their opinion can be expressed by communication to one another or over digital medias, for example TV, radio or the internet. Our article fights to give all people the opportunity to express their meaning or ideas without outcoming interference. Our article also means that everyone should have the right to receive information or ideas from all over the globe. Kurt Vestergaard or the Mohammed crisis. From the West, we have chosen the episode The Mohammed Crisis because it clearly represents the difference the different views on Article 19. The Mohammed Crisis is a product from drawings from the Danish newspaper Jonas, which insulted the Islam prophet Muhammad. The man behind these drawings was Kurt Vestergaard, a Danish cartoonist. Because Kurt Vestergaard is a big and important role in this episode, we have chosen to write about him in the profile.
The Mohammed drawing was brought in the Danish newspaper Jonas in September 2005 and came with an article about self-censorship in the press. The 12 drawings show different versions of the prophet, for example Muhammad with a bomb in his turban. Kurt Vestergaard, the artist behind the drawing, was born in Denmark 1935. And the drawing he made of the Prophet Muhammad came with an article about freedom of speech in the press. In Denmark we have full freedom of speech and opinion, so Kurt Vestergaard was actually in his fully right to draw the insulting pictures. But in many countries in the West, for example Somalia, the government is very religious and the citizens doesn't have much freedom of speech compared to Denmark. Therefore, when the drawing from Kurt Vestergaard was printed, many Islam people went to the Danish government to convince them to take care of the problem. But the government in Denmark couldn't do anything or punish Kurt Vestergaard because of his freedom of opinion and information.
When the Mohammed crisis was on the highest, it was a normal sight that people from the Western burned the national Danish flag and the Danish embassies. It turned into a diplomatic crisis and led to a trade boycott. In desperation of revenge, the drawings has also led to many attempts murders, and Kurt Vestergaard has received protection from PET. In 2010, a young Somali man with an axe showed up in Kurt Vestergaard's home and threatened Kurt Vestergaard. Luckily, the police showed up and arrested the man before he got the opportunity to kill Kurt. So in the Mohammed crisis, the only one to get a punishment was Kurt Vestergaard's attacker. But beside that is one of the human rights. You can argue if Kurt Vestergaard and Jonas made the right choice to printing these pictures.
We have chosen to talk about Mandela and apartheid because it contains our article Freedom of Speech. Mandela was born July 18 in 1918 in South Africa. He is a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, is a politician and was president of South Africa in 1994 to 1999. Apartheid was delivered after World War II. Apartheid is a separation of races, and one of the biggest groups of all was the white, the black and the Asians. The government segregated education, medical care, beaches and other public services. And provided black people with services in fur, which is also lower rank to those of the white people. In 1962, Mandela was arrested by the South African police because of his opposition to the white government and his apartheid policies of racial, political and economic discrimination against the non-white people. Mandela sentenced to life in prison in the Rivonia trial, but got out after 27 years in prison. He He was first at Robben Island, then he was at Portsmouth prison and Victor Reston prison. The fact that Mandela was sent to prison because of his opinion is clearly a violation to the human right, freedom of opinion and information. We have chosen to talk about the Egyptian Revolution in 2011 because we couldn't find any information about kids in the freedom of speech.
The Egyptian Revolution was a large demonstration which found place in the streets of Cairo. It began 25 January 2011 and was inspired of Jasmine Revolution in Tunisia. The demonstration was peaceful, but the police wasn't peaceful at all. The police was shooting at the demonstrators.
The main reason the Egyptians demonstrators would do this because they wanted Mubarak away from the power. After 18 days of demonstration, the try to overthrow Mubarak succeeded. 800 people died and 6,400 people were hurt.
Mubarak didn't follow the human right freedom of speech, and the people in Egypt wasn't allowed to say their opinion. The rise in Egypt started riots in Yemen, Bahrain, and the civil war in Libya.